A moderate makeover, Harris emphasizing centrism in her first interview as the Democratic nominee for President of the United States, as new polling shows her leading or tied with Trump in every battleground state. Welcome to the No Spin Zone. Graphs Grievances starts right now. Vice President Kamala Harris touting her ideological shift to the center in her first interview since President Joe Biden exited the race and anointed her his successor. When asked about what would be her agenda on day one, Harris did not mention abortion rights, voting rights, securing democracy, or even health care. Instead, Harris said this.
First and foremost, one of my highest priorities is to do what we can to support and strengthen the middle class. Day one, it's going to be about, one, implementing my plan for what I call an opportunity economy. I've already laid out a number of proposals in that regard, which include what we're going to do to bring down the cost of everyday goods, what we're going to do to invest in America's small businesses, what we're going to do to invest in families, for example, extending the child tax credit to $6,000 for families for the first year of their child's life, to help them buy a car seat, to help them buy baby clothes, a crib. There's the work that we're going to do that is about investing in the American family around affordable housing, a big issue in our country right now. So there are a number of things on day one.
Harris understanding the assignment, reaching out to voters beyond her base, addressing inflation and the economy, two big issues Americans across the ideological spectrum say is very important, if not most important, to them. But Harris went even further, courting moderate and disaffected Republicans.
I believe it is important to build consensus, and it is important to find a common place of understanding of where we can actually solve problems.
On that note, you had a lot of Republican speakers at the convention. Yeah. Will you appoint a Republican to your cabinet?
Yes, I would.
Anyone in mind?
Yes, I would. No one in particular in mind. We got 68 days to go with this election, so I'm not putting the cart before the horse, but I would. I think it's really important. I have spent my career inviting diversity of opinion. I think it's important to have people at the table when some of the most important decisions are being made that have different views, different experiences. And I think it would be to the benefit of the American public to have a member of my cabinet who was a Republican.
The vice president making big news, saying she would appoint a Republican to her cabinet because it would be to the benefit of the American people to have different ideological perspectives represented in her administration. Next, Harris eloquently and logically explaining her tack to the political center on a series of policy issues.
In 2019, I believe, at a town hall, you said you were asked, would you commit to implementing a federal ban on fracking on your first day in office? And you said, there's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking. So yes. So it changed in that campaign?
In 2020, I made very clear where I stand. We are in 2024, and I've not changed that position, nor will I going forward. I kept my word, and I will keep my word.
What made you change that position at the time?
Well, let's be clear. My values have not changed. I believe it is very important that we take seriously what we must do to guard against what is a clear crisis in terms of the climate. And to do that, we can do what we have accomplished thus far. The Inflation Reduction Act, what we have done to invest, by my calculation, over probably $1 trillion over the next 10 years, investing in a clean energy economy. What we've already done, creating over 300,000 new clean energy jobs. That tells me, from my experience as vice president, we can do it without banning fracking. In fact, Dana, I cast the tie-breaking vote that actually increased leases for fracking as vice president. So I'm very clear about where I stand.
And was there some policy or scientific data that you saw that you said, oh, okay, I get it now?
What I have seen is that we can grow and we can increase a thriving clean energy economy without banning fracking.
Okay.
Harris first stating that her values have not changed. She still believes in climate change, but she determined through research and study that America could still achieve its climate goals without a ban on fracking, a drilling method that extracts oil and natural gas from deep underground rock formations and supports, by some estimates, tens of thousands of jobs in Pennsylvania alone. Next, on the issue of immigration and border security, Harris made the powerful case that she and President Biden have done way more to secure the southern border than Trump and his running mate, J.D. Vance.
Joe Biden and I, and our administration, worked with members of the United States Congress on an immigration issue that is very significant to the American people and to our security, which is the border. And through bipartisan work, including some of the most conservative members of the United States Congress, a bill was crafted, which we supported, which I support. And Donald Trump got word of this bill that would have contributed to securing our border, and because he believes that it would not have helped him politically, he told his folks in Congress, don't put it forward. He killed the bill. A border security bill that would have put 1,500 more agents on the border. And let me tell you something, the Border Patrol endorsed the bill. And I'm sure in large part because they knew they were working around the clock, and 1,500 more agents would help them. That bill would have allowed us to increase seizures of fentanyl. Ask any community in America that has been devastated by fentanyl what passing that bill would have done to address their concern and a pain that they've experienced.
So you would push that legislation again. I just want to
Not
ask
only
about...
push it, I will make sure that it comes to my desk and I would sign it.
Just one other question about something that you said in 2019 when you first ran. There was a debate. You raised your hand when asked whether or not the border should be decriminalized. Do you still believe that?
I believe there should be consequence. We have laws that have to be followed and enforced that address and deal with people who cross our border illegally, and there should be consequence. And let's be clear, in this race, I'm the only person who has prosecuted transnational criminal organizations who traffic in guns, drugs, and human beings. I'm the only person in this race who actually served a border state as Attorney General to enforce our laws, and I would enforce our laws as president going forward.
In essence, Trump talks a big game, but when it comes to taking action, Harris is the only person running for president or vice president that has actually done something about securing the border, prosecuting transnational criminal organizations, and supporting a Republican bill to vastly increase border security. And while Harris has never embraced the progressive view that Israel's war in Gaza is akin to genocide, she made clear she still doesn't and stands firmly with the Jewish state.
Would you do anything differently? For example, would you withhold some U.S. weapons shipments to Israel? That's what a lot of people on the progressive left want you to do.
Let me be very clear. I'm unequivocal and unwavering in my commitment to Israel's defense and its ability to defend itself. And that's not going to change. But let's take a step back. October 7, 1,200 people were massacred. Many young people who were simply attending a music festival. Women were horribly raped. As I said then, I say today, Israel has a right to defend itself. We would. And how it does so matters. Far too many innocent Palestinians have been killed. And we have got to get a deal done. We were in Doha. Mm-hmm. We have to get a deal done. This war must end.
And in the meantime,
and we must get a deal that is about getting the hostages out. I've met with the families of the American hostages. Let's get the hostages out. Let's get the ceasefire done.
But no change in policy in terms of arms and so forth.
No, we have to get a deal done. Dana, we have to get a deal done. When you look at the significance of this to the families, to the people who are living in that region, a deal is not only the right thing to do to end this war, but will unlock so much of what must happen next. I remain committed since I've been on October 8 to what we must do to work toward a two-state solution, where Israel is secure and in equal measure, the Palestinians have security and self-determination and dignity.
Overall, Harris performing rather flawlessly, debunking the Trump narrative time and again that she is some far-left San Francisco liberal and making clear that she is in this race to win.
You suggested that you happened to turn black recently for political purposes, questioning a core part of your identity.
Yeah.
Any?
Same old tired playbook. Next question, please.
That's it?
That's it.
Okay.
Harris masterfully not taking the bait and choosing to keep the focus on her agenda fighting for the American people.
There is some suggestion, warped I believe it to be, that the measure of the strength of a leader is based on who you beat down, instead of where I believe most Americans are, which is to believe that the true measure of the strength of a leader is based on who you lift up. That's what's at stake as much as any other detail that we could discuss in this election. Listen, I am running because I believe that I am the best person to do this job at this moment, for all Americans, regardless of race and gender.
And at least as of this moment, the American people agree with Harris, that regardless of race and gender, she is the best person to lead the free world. Brand new polling from Bloomberg and Morning Consult finding Harris leading or tied with Trump in the 7 states most likely to determine the outcome of the election. In Wisconsin, Harris has an 8-point lead over Trump, 52% to 44%. In Pennsylvania, Harris has a 4-point lead over Trump, 51% to 47%. In Nevada, Harris leads Trump by 4 points, 49% to 45%. In Michigan, Harris leads Trump by 3 points, 49% to 46%. In both North Carolina and Georgia, Harris holds a 2-point lead over Trump. And in Arizona, Harris and Trump are tied at 48%. All of this great news for Harris as we are now just under 70 days before Election Day. The key for Harris keeping the momentum going as Trump increasingly becomes persona non grata with his string of disgusting sexual and racist attacks on Harris that have done nothing to expand his support. Thank you for watching Graf's Grievances. Let me know what you think. Please like, subscribe, share, and join me in the next one.